kidding? Uh, Look at Silva. Are you kidding? And we're just climbing. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta laugh about it. Now I was sitting here all of a sudden, like all the trend lines disappeared, and like I got disconnected from Discord, and then OBS Studio was like reconnecting. I was like, ah, crap! I just lost internet. Yeah, I moved out of the city, and I gotta say, like, we got Spectrum, and it's funny, like, it's not that bad. But then, as you just saw, a situation like that, right? Middle of Monday afternoon, I just lose internet for 10, 15 minutes. It's just so sporadic. And of course, if we weren't live and it happened at 3 in the morning, I really wouldn't care. So I guess the puts aren't gonna work out, but I'm telling you, man. I have a feeling they're pumping it today so they could drop it tomorrow. Because usually we are pretty quiet, pretty flat this week. Tomorrow we have a lot of reports. Today was just bullish trap. I'm telling you, man. That sounds good to me. Again, as I said, am I upset that the markets are up? No, of course not. This much seems to be an issue to me. And again, it ain't even about the SPY puts, right? That's what I'm saying. Forget it. Forget about the SPY puts. I'm talking in general. We shouldn't have had this much strength. We had this random gap up. And as you see, we retest this trend line for, again, 90 seconds, and then we just bounce off of it. Since when? I was watching a lot of channels. Sentiment is just not right. I'm telling you, man, it's usually a very quiet week. That's why if we seesaw and give most of this back tomorrow, and then we're like flat Wednesday going into the holiday, it would make sense to me. It would make sense to me. So I just don't want, right, as you're saying, right, don't let your guard down. Don't get lulled into, like, oh, everything's green again? Oh, okay. Remember, they started to turn the markets, and, it lasted for like a week or something. And usually, it continues, right? So, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Whatever they're selling, I'm not buying. All cash. Oh, wait, I don't know how to day trade, okay? I'm better at swing trading. Yeah, just watch. Just watch. That, in my opinion, that's probably the best strategy right now. Keep some cash on hand. And as we say, be patient. Be patient, right? I honestly may have forced that trade, right? The SPY puts. I may have forced that trade. And, of course, as I always say, take what the market gives you. Try not to force trades, right? So, you're in a good position. And listen, if we randomly, start to rally for 2-3 days, I don't want you, in my opinion, I don't want you to go against what you just established. So don't let them suck you in. Just remain patient, pick your spots, be a sniper out there. And regardless of what they want to do this week or the last couple of days of November, remember, we were absolutely raging for essentially the entire year. I think we sold off for what, like 2 weeks or something in March? That's nothing. That's nothing. And again, if we're preparing to have a good 2026 and all our companies are great and the markets are going to go up again, well then we may need to come down a little bit before we take that next leg higher. So similar to what we saw at the end of 2024, we may have like the last week or two of December a little rocky, and then going into the new year we start to roll again. And again, I'm not wishing a market crash on anybody, but I always just like to talk about all of these possibilities because, again, the market was pumping for years now. So something's got to give. Something's got to give. And again, unfortunately, as we always say, people do get lulled into the market. Right? And then before you know it, they don't really have any cash left on hand. They got like a lot of calls in place because markets have been raging. And then all of a sudden, they drop it. I just don't trust it, man. I don't trust it. And again, we start retesting these trend lines. I mean, we're going back to where we were, right? We're talking a 1% swing fully. We're talking like a 70-point drop here. And we have seen it happen in the last 4 minutes of the day and stuff like that. So it ain't over till it's over. And if you were personally watching a key level on the NASDAQ or on the Dow or something, again, right at the end of the day is when it can all change. I was reaching a point. I'm out of liquidity to buy anything. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, that's how it happens. Because you're sitting here with this cash, you nail a couple of trades, and then you're like, oh, this market's awesome. I got to buy some shares of this. I got to buy a 6-month call on this. I got to buy a leap on this. And then that's when markets pull back. And you're in near the top, and now everything's slowly losing value. If you sell, you're going to take a loss. You can't add to a new position, like puts or buying the VIX, because now you have no cash left. I'm telling you, man, tale as old as time. And if you let a little bit of the parade go by, as we say, no one's going to be perfect. You're never going to time it perfectly. But from years of experience, let me tell you, in my opinion, it's much better to be safe than sorry. But I do think 2026 overall, I mean, it's going to be a good year for the country. I don't know if the markets are going to follow, but I mean, we have a lot of big things coming in 2026. I know Trump talking about the tax cuts. So that should, again, it might not happen immediately, but maybe over the first couple of months of the year, we may start to see like stronger, consumer sentiment and whatnot. I know they were talking about sending out a couple of thousand in checks to everybody. I don't really know what that's going to do, because he kind of made it seem like he wants to end Obamacare so everyone could buy their own health care, and he's going to send everyone like $2-3 grand or whatever, even though they're not connected. but now you kind of have to connect them because most people are probably going to take that money and use it for healthcare. So I don't know how much those checks are going to do. Bro, 26 will be perfect. Pull back essential. Not American. Love Trump. What he's doing. Yeah, no, for sure. Appreciate that. Appreciate that support. Now, Trump, again, I know some people bash him, but unfortunately, a lot of the people who are bashing Trump don't understand. They're kind of doing it from an emotional standpoint, not like an economic standpoint or a logical standpoint. Remember the 1.2 trillion from Middle East? Yeah, no, that's what I said. Like, you can hate on Trump all you want, but you have to give credit where credit's due. It's nobody was really doing this, and he's calling up all these leaders of all these countries saying like, hey, listen, I'm going to get us back on track. America's going to be freaking number one again. We're going to be a freaking powerhouse. How much you got? We want an investment. And he leaned on them with the tariffs, as we said, art of the deal, right? He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's a businessman. Art of the deal. You use the tariffs as leverage, and then the country gets upset, and they're like, oh, what the hell's your problem? And you say, hey, listen, it is what it is. And then they say, okay. How about we got like 200 billion that we could invest, we can open some factories in America. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I guess that's okay. All right, I'll lower the tariffs back down. It's all negotiation. And the only reason why people really can't stand him is because he's the first guy in like decades who had the balls to actually say something. Hey, what's up, RD? Because again, I know the tariffs ruffled, a little bit of feathers and whatnot, but as I said, in my opinion, kind of understanding how all this works, in my opinion, 20 years ago, we should have had tariffs in place. And the fact that, this guy Trump finally comes along, he's looking at the tariffs, and you have a bunch of countries not paying any tariffs to access the greatest consumer market in the world. So people are just hating on him only because, honestly, we were just too nice. Or maybe our people in there weren't smart enough. I have no idea, but I highly doubt that. But we were just too nice. And that's the problem. Everyone's getting upset today at Trump. Meanwhile, this should have been done 20 years ago. And that's what I don't see that as Trump's fault. Hey, Lou, welcome back. Yeah, the internet went out for like 10, 15 minutes. Oh, yeah, no, for sure. For sure. 100%. And again, if I was another country and I saw how long America's been around, what they used to do, where they came from, and as you said, all of a sudden now I'm getting these weird freaking ideologies and talking points coming out of this country. Yeah, understandable. You start to lose faith in the country overall. So that's why, again, if other countries over the last, like 5, 10, 15 years, if they've been getting upset with America, it's understandable. But again, I mean, we do technically have trillions coming in. As our buddy here said, 1.2 trillion from the Middle East. That's huge. We have our own companies. Again, people were bashing the corporate greed of a lot of our American corporations. And now you have all them, especially the big tech guys, right? You got Meta, you got Google, Apple. They're all saying, oh yeah, we're 500 billion, 800 billion. So all of a sudden, I mean, if you literally add it up, we have like $4 or $5 trillion about to come back into this country over the next couple of years. So unless someone really at the top drops the ball or does something blatantly corrupt or some shit like that, then in my opinion, it should be a layup. It really should be a layup. And by the time Trump is like ending his term in 2028, everything really should be in a great spot. We really should be in a great spot. $330. S&P still above 6,700. Had a slight tease there right before 3 o'clock. I would look at the dollar and everything else, but apparently it doesn't matter. Wow, 2,000%? Okay. I'm pulling for you, brother. I'm pulling for you. But yeah, that's why I was saying in my Trump video back in January, I think I made it. This is why I was saying you want to invest into American companies during this administration, right? Because he's putting America first, supposedly. So you want to invest into our American businesses, our American tech, as I mentioned. That old school grandfather tech, again, stocks like BlackBerry, Xerox, in my opinion, I think, still in play. They're down, but they're not out. We already had good news on BlackBerry since I started talking about it. And that's what I mean, right? You want it under the radar. You don't want everyone to talk about it. Something like Nokia, right? Same thing. Think about those companies, right? People think about Nokia. They're like, oh, I remember those phones, right? People think about BlackBerry. Oh, why would I buy BlackBerry stock? Nobody uses that anymore. Everyone has an iPhone. It's like, bro, it's like you're missing the point. You're missing the big picture. I said, there's value in them there hills. Oh. We're raging it. Oh. The hell was that? Less than 30 minutes left. Yeah, that's funny. DraftKings dropped and stayed flat all day. Freaking market's raging. It's all about technology, man. And again, no one's paying attention. Look at this. Silver's up almost 3%. Silver is up almost 3%. Look at the dollar, too. Essentially unchanged. But look at oil, gold, silver climbing along with our stocks. Which, in my opinion, of course, is nonsense. Wait, what did I say? We got Sim, Zoom, Neo, F, Cold, Best Buy. Uh, X, Yellow. Oh, Rich. Nope. Got MBOT and HGraph up a little bit though. Tell you the truth, the only losers are the ones that don't change their mindset, work for their salary. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. I know. See, brother. I mean, what is that's what Mosaic, right? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, you keep saying this. You said the same thing about Boeing. I mean, literally, the charts look exactly the same, right? I don't. Again, brother, I love you, and I appreciate it. I know what I know. The calls are the calls. That's why I know you like some action. You come in, you're like, oh, calls on this. What about this stock? What about that? It's like, listen, I've been doing very, very well. And while you're looking for what you want to look for, right? We go back to a day like last week where I made a dozen calls correct, and you only had like one or two of them, or whatever happened. This is why I tell people if you're gonna follow me, trust the process. Obviously, it's not working out today, but in general, it works. And if I didn't wake up and feel like crap, maybe I would have been a little sharper today. No excuses though, no excuses. No, I don't have any thoughts. It's not one I keep an eye on, so it would be it would be kind of like an uninformed bullshit analysis. Did that Coke hit another high? No. I'm stunned. Absolute stunner. Yeah, because I remember you said that, I don't know, like a couple of days ago and something before. I was like, yeah, this kid was talking about Boeing. Let me see Boeing. And, like, it just continues to flop. Same thing. It's got that big curl going right all the way down with the red. That's what I mean, bro. If you're gonna try to time the bottom, then like I said, in my opinion, this is why I like my strategy. And again, if I'm gonna buy a stock near a bottom, I'm gonna try to buy something like B&G. I'm gonna try to buy something like Xerox. I don't know. I am honestly very surprised we held this level too. My legs 1 second, right back. Okay, up. Still holding 6,700. Why not? Why not? Why not? Zim when the conflicts in the Middle East stops. uh, sell when a stock is pumping. Okay. Sell before earnings. Yep, yep, yep. Like I said, there was I remember this many years ago. There was like like a study they did, and they were tracking trading a stock into earnings and selling right before earnings, and then they were tracking playing the stock into earnings and holding through earnings. And it was pretty wild, I remember, because I think like the return going into earnings, I want to say was maybe like 30-40% or something like that. And if you held it through earnings, it was like 1.5 or 2% or something like that. Which again is why I say if you're gonna jump in calls and play the run up into earnings, that's why usually most people say you should kind of lock in most of it. If you want, you could leave a few runners, play earnings. How diluted is MBOT? I don't remember. You asked me these things today, my mind, my body's upside down. Oh, blow it out, Jerry. MBOT almost 5%. Hey, trying to go right back up. We're trying to go right back. Again, this is our resistance, right? This is our resistance. So if we can get back up there to there, then we should do that. Good old MBOT. Yeah, what? I think the last round of shares, I think it was like 15 or like 17 million shares or something like that. And right, weren't we near like 50 million shares? And now we got 67 million. But I believe I remember them talking around $4. Yeah, they were talking about, I think we were saying like 50% dilution or something like that. Which is why we were all kind of on the same page saying, yeah, like $2 we could see. We could see like $2. And now, of course, we had the technicals here. The stock was bottoming out. We took a leg down. Added a bit more today. Yeah, like I said, I mean, technically, we could keep rejecting. They could beat it up all the way back down here, right? But first of all, I will say, first found it on the channel at $1, right? So even after this whole wild ride, you'd still be up roughly 30%. But again, I'm just talking overall. I'm not talking for you guys. But here as well, as we started to break these trend lines, when I had a few bucks, I grabbed, whatever, just a few shares at a time. But, I kept buying. I bought a couple of times on this ride down. And that's why I was saying, like, in the low 3s and stuff, that was a good price. In the low 2s was a good price. And sub 2, I think, is a great price. Pumping on SPY. Yeah, like I said, they can't help themselves. Highs of the day, 67.15. They can't help themselves. About an hour ago, San Francisco Fed just said rates should be cut due to employment risk. Makes me laugh. One person says one thing, one person says another thing. employment's not an issue. Now there's employment risk. Last week, what, like 80% of them were like, oh, we really can't cut rates. Now all of a sudden, oh, we should cut rates. It's laughable, man. It really is. That's why you just gotta laugh about it. Just gotta laugh about it. Oh, too damn funny, man. Looks like Palantir started selling off, though. Whoa! I was gonna say. That was big volume coming out. I wonder if it's because they realized that they shouldn't have got 165 to begin with, so they might as well lock this in real quick. Uh-huh. Appreciate the update on that, Neo. It's just funny though, man. Like I said, day by day, they just change. Day by day, they change. And the market reacts, which it shouldn't. Because a rate isn't cut until a rate is cut. So talking and discussing the probability of a rate cut means nothing. Yeah, I don't know. It might be my internet. I'm having some issues today. It's just a bad Monday. Horrible freaking Monday. And that's the game. Yeah, I'll take responsibility for today. I knew it. I wasn't feeling 100%. I shouldn't have said anything. It looks like Palantir dropped. This is basically around the level I mentioned calls. I mean, puts. So, I don't know. Those might actually work out. I just really thought the S&P would start to pull back, man. That's why, like I said, it's SPY puts, Tesla, Palantir puts, and of course, calls on VXX. That was the play, man. That was supposed to be the play. RR, nice day. Okay. 9%, very nice. Yep. Gonna come back up to that moving average, to those trend lines. Probably could see about a 10% move tomorrow again. Especially if markets decide to rage all week randomly, when they never have before, but that's besides the point. Yeah, we got BlackBerry chilling. B&G, I'm telling you, man, in my opinion, it's heating up. It's heating up. Xerox, look at that, popping right back up, baby. Went from 230 to 270. Bang, bang. I knew I was going to be early on it, too, which is why when I first saw it here, I said, wait, we had a break, we popped back up, then we broke again. And then, like, here, I think I was talking about it or something. And, of course, we kept slipping. Something like that. Very difficult to time, but should be alright, in my opinion. About SMCI. Bounce back above support. Yep. You can see we had flash crashes, and it reclaimed, and usually had a nice little bounce back off of this line here. So, if we don't open big red, we could see another nice pop on SMCI tomorrow. Should be actually more than... Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, maybe about the same move. Maybe about the same move. I mean, the dollar, again, continues to climb. Very surprising that the markets were up as much as they were today. Especially, again, we had oil, gold, silver starting to climb with it. Look at that oil, beautiful bounce right there off the trend line, back above it. Oh, man, these metals are heating up, man. These metals are heating up. Well, we had big volume come out. It dropped right back down, so... I mean, I still say, in general, Palantir puts. And pretty much everyone was in agreement. I mean, they took the stock up 207, freaking $500 billion market cap. Again, it's like ASTS, right? I mean, without the dilution, but it's like ASTS, again. They took that stock up, what, 101, 103. Now all of a sudden, it's like 51. I'm telling you, the chickens are coming home to roost, man. Let's see, out of curiosity, how it's moving. Not really doing much. I mean, we did have that big lay down. I mean, it does look like it's ready to drop back down here. Sub 160. So, hopefully that happens tomorrow. If you know what I mean. I do know what you mean. Alright. So let's see who we got. Sim. Net income, they lost 19 million, lost 3 cents a share. Sees Q1 rev 610 to 630 million. This was, yeah, I was going to say, this wasn't Q1. I mean, yeah, they're looking for 610, 610. That is good growth year over year. Symbotic SYM currently up 5%. And I said puts. Zoom, ho. Q3 revenue up 6.1%. Sees fiscal year revenue 485 to 486 billion. Sees Q4 revenue 1.23 to 1.24 billion. Sees Q4 adjusted EPS 148, 149. Third quarter enterprise revenue 741.4 million. Third quarter online revenue up 2%. Sees fiscal year adjusted EPS $5.95 to $5.97. Q3 rev $123 billion. Very slight beat on the revenue side for Zoom. Increased total common stock repurchase authorization by $1 billion. Zoom Communications ZM currently up 2.5%. Earnings beat 2%. I said puts again. Semtech. Hey. Oh no, wait. What did I say? Nope, I said calls. Semtech. Loss per share, 3 cents. Okay. Adjusted EPS 48. Estimates were 44. 267 million. Estimates were 266.4 million. Wow. Yeah. So they're being chunked down right now. 14.5%. Oh. Thanks, buddy. Have a good night. Who else? Agilent. Beats quarterly revenue estimates. Strong demand for lab tools. 158 on 183. Forecast revenue for financial year 2026, slightly ahead of Wall Street estimates. Agilent sees 2026 revenue to be between 7.3 billion and 7.4 billion. Yeah. Okay, yeah, thanks. Frickin'. Midpoint of which is already ahead of average analyst estimates of 7.3 billion. Medical equipment makers have seen renewed demand for contract research and diagnostic services. Pharmaceutical companies accelerate drug development in the U.S. amid President Donald Trump shifting trade policies. Fourth quarter revenue, $186 billion. Estimates, $183. Sales in its life science diagnostic segments were $755 million, beating the estimate of $718 million. While revenue from its CrossLab unit, which offers products and services for laboratory management, rose 7% to $775 million. Adjusted profit for the quarter was $159, estimates $158. So, nice little beat there for Agilent. Down 2%. Of course, I said calls. My goodness. I mean, I'm assuming share count increased because this seems like a pretty decent report for Semtech. Down 7% now. Was down double that just a moment ago. Yeah, that's what I mean. It looked like a really good quarter. Again, I mean, share count could be increasing. Sim again. Yeah, Sim, strong numbers. I said puts. Zoom, I said puts. Agilent is now down 5%. Wow. 0 for 4. 0 for 4 on immediate moves. That is wild. Agilent now down 7%. And Semtech down 9%. Okay. So, let's go back here. For the day, I said SPY puts. That was wrong. I re-mentioned all the other index puts. I actually think the Dow went down. Get out of here. Okay, right there at 11:03. I called puts again. Dow puts a little bit. Those didn't work out. Obviously, up and down, but not enough. Those didn't work out. Nope. Yeah, and it's interesting. You know, I don't even know if we could say Palantir is an L, because I have a feeling that one's going to work out. All right, so 1 for 4. We'll say 2 for 6. Wow. All right, so I guess generously we could say 2 for 8 today. Jeez. And of course, earnings currently 0 for 4. Yep. This is why we're not sharp, we're not on point. As you see, right? I just proved it. It's what happens when you it's what happens when you try to force it. I think the drop's a good indicator. That was big volume coming out. It should really drop back down again, back to like 160, sub 160 in my opinion. No, yeah, for sure, for sure. Gotta roll with the punches, take the good with the bad. As we say, you know, we're usually right easily, like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times, so just had those couple of incorrect calls just kind of pile up today. But it's all a numbers game. And I remember, what was it? It was like a week or two. Kind of same thing happened. Came on, had like a terrible Monday. I was all pissed off. Then we bounced back. We had a great Tuesday. And I think like a good Wednesday. And people were saying just after a day or two that they recouped those losses. It was that DraftKings, I think. It's all about the good with the bad. It's all about the yin with the yang. But yeah, that was a terrible day, so I don't know. I'm gonna go eat a sandwich and take a nap or something. Hopefully, again, like you guys were mentioning, RR had a good day. So hopefully a bunch of the other positions were nice and green for you. We had Hydrograph today. Closed up about 4.5%, we'll call it. Back above the moving average. Could climb here again. This is HG Canadian. Could climb up to about 4.5 Canadian. Potentially 5 if it wants to retest these trend lines. Which would be right near a new high. So we could potentially see that like over the next week or two. Stocks were booming today. Yeah, awesome, awesome. That's what I mean. You know, you miss a trade here or there, but again, hopefully the bulk of everyone's account is doing very nicely. MBOT again almost got back to this trend line. This is our resistance again that we were talking about. So we could have quite a nice bounce back if we get back above that trend line. Let's see what it wants to do. SoFi went flying. Oh yeah, really? Wow, look at that. Look at that. Tanked it, brought it essentially right back into the apex of my original wedge. Are you seeing this? And then exploded. This is why I tell you, man, you know, they try to make me not as good as I am. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, believe it or not, as good as you guys think I am, trust me, I will do better. I will do even better once this market gets real. But yeah, SoFi's been strong. And again, I spoke about this, man. I mean, of course, I was pretty adamant down here at 6, but even when we first started talking about the stock, like back here when it started gaining traction, it went up to 10, 11, people down here were like, oh, I like SoFi, it sold off. I was saying, if you look at, yeah, perfect lines, right? If you look at the fundamentals, and you go back to like the first couple of videos on the channel I did about SoFi, I literally said this was going to happen. I said soon down the road, there's going to be a 20, there's going to be a $30 stock. They're going to start getting pieces of IPOs. They're going to be a player in the space. And they're either going to grow like an animal or they're going to get bought out. And now here we are. You know, stock 32. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Learn something new every day. Learning is never finished. But it does look like, again, gold and silver and oil actually setting up for additional pops. So I'm actually very curious to see what they look like tomorrow. But that's pretty much it. So I'll end this here, but, you know, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for keeping the chat moving and whatnot, brother. I appreciate you. But, again, hopefully overall, everyone had a decent day. I mean, technically, this is a great day. Yeah, a great day to start the week. Holiday week, short week, boom. We come right out of the gates, running up S&P 1.5%, NASDAQ up over 2.5%. So, good day for the markets. And, again, for our trades, for our fast money, I'm going to do everything in my power to make that back for you guys tomorrow. But again, appreciate everyone's time. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Appreciate your support. Have a good night. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.